A very good afternoon to all. Welcome back to Tally CA Connect. So every Wednesday, I get to see familiar names on the attendee list. Makes me happy to see that this forum has been consistent part of upskilling, and it gives me even greater joy that CA Connect is reaching newer audience. So for the people joining in for the first time, CA Connect series we have been doing over the 3 years. It's an upskilling platform for TallyPrime, where we have professionals talk about Tally features with their practical experiences as example. So please do stay tuned for Wednesday CA Connect session. I'm sure you will find the information from our social media, through email, how you must have received through our WhatsApp community of chartered accountants by Tally. So welcome to you, and I hope this being your first session wouldn't be your last. So with the audit season coming up, we planned today's session, that is smart auditing in TallyPrime, with a great insight from our expert for today. Please welcome CA Monica Challani Ranka ma'am, a practicing CA from Chennai, a great teacher, and very importantly, she's a Tally evangelist, taking session at various important forums, ICI chapters, NASIN. NASIN do conduct for GST offices, and lot of places. So thank you, Monica ji, for curating this session. Thank you for your time. So we have a great audience, almost close to 300 people at the beginning of the session. So let's make the best out of it. As you can see, the recording is on and it will be uploaded for sure. So let's jump right at it. Thank you, Monica ji. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Okay. Good evening, everyone. We we are starting with the audit season. It's May now. I'm sure all listed company audits would have almost come to half closures. And other than listed companies, also we are already gearing up for audits. So that's the reason we decided that, this particular topic is of great relevance because there are two things that are happening right now. The closure of the previous year, and we are already a month and a half past the closure of the previous year and starting of this year. However, it is never too late to start. The first quarter is crucial for all setups and all settings and all recommendations and suggestions that you can give to your clients to make their work better, thereby making our work better as auditors. Because as when we come to the year end, we are almost doing post-mortem. So I would urge that we start thinking of prospective at the same time when we are doing audits, because we want to retain our clients. And all smaller audits, like all small companies, they don't have rotation policies. Partnerships, proprietors, they don't have any kind of rotation policy. So our aim is to retain the clients. So we should be focusing on two aspects. One is the audit of the previous year, but more important than that is focusing on current year, what we can suggest, what changes we can do in the data, so that we can update and upskill the client, give add value at the same time, and not just do prior period issues sorting. So with that in mind, there are a lot of suggestions and a lot of recommendations that would be coming flowing from me. You may or may not agree with it, but however, these are like from my own experiences and experience taken from seniors in the profession, and from where we have devised few methodologies. Now, before we start this particular session, I would like to bring in two important aspects. These uh, the features and whatever we are going to discuss today, these can help in audit. They are not the conclusive audit work papers. We need to have professional judgment. We have to have work papers outside of the software, but we will utilize and how do we call it? Like, we are Indians, right? We will squeeze whatever possible outcomes we can from the software and then build up on that. So that is the whole agenda. Higher end audits will definitely not be enough with this thing, but lower audits and smaller companies with lesser risk, definitely these will serve more than 60% of the work paper. So you can just create them, and we can show you how you can create these work papers as say a standard set, and can be utilized by your team. So I am Before we start, how many of us are doing statutory audits? Can we have like a, raise of hand or, something? I can see 11, 14 as of now. Yeah, 20, 25, 30. Okay, we have quite a few numbers who do statutory audit. Now let's see how many of us do tax audits. Like how many of us are also doing tax audits? Okay, this number is just increasing. So there is a lot of us, like, in the audit field. Can I just request you please to lower hand because I would like to know how many of us in the audience are not into audit field itself. You are not into audit field itself. Okay, I do see a couple of people, say around 10 to 12 people. That is again 10% of the current strength. So there are a lot of people who are not into the audit field itself. Now, how will this session help you? I am so glad that you have actually, turned out for this session because this is not audit per se. This is more to do with analytics and how you can make your data better, data stronger for reporting, for your own understanding. Like, if you're into any business yourself or you're maintaining your own data, how do you understand the data better so you can, have everything inside the data itself? So now with that in mind, we have certain agenda. I'm going to do it live here. So I'm just opening a blank Excel. To start with this today's agenda, we will be speaking about how to do like basic things like say opening balance verifications because that's the start point. Opening balance verification. Before that, I would say the start point would be even before opening balance verification, it is to validate the data that you have received, like, validate the data. So we will see how we can validate the data, how we can do opening balance verification. Yeah, and how we can see some of the reports, some analysis reports. Okay, and say we might we will also be looking at a few inbuilt sampling and and vouching. Okay. And how do you create work papers inside the software? How trial balance and all other
Monica ji,
reports
the
you can
tally
create?
screen is not moving if you're talking, or are you displaying also?
I am displaying on in Excel. Are you not able to
No,
see
we
the?
are not able to see the Excel.
Okay, I'll stop my screen and I'll share again. Just let me
Give
know.
the entire first access of the screen so that anyway you
Yeah,
navigate.
that's what I did. Okay, let's just try again. Oh, I realize what's the issue. One
Yes.
second.
Yeah, we can see the Excel now.
Okay, great. I think there was some issue maybe because of which it may have. Yeah, is it visible now?
Yeah, we can see the Excel.
Yeah, I'm doing nothing. Whatever I'm talking, I'm trying to put it inside so that we can just go on with this. So how do you automate your work papers? Okay, how you can do some kind of data mining. Okay, and most importantly, how do you bring them out and make the work papers? Say edit log and audit trail. It was in traction for a couple of years, for telling that, audit trail is like essential now and it is compulsory for all corporate audits. So with this, and if we have time, we will proceed with, other surprise topics. So with this is the agenda that we are thinking of. Um, so let's start like with validation of the data. So what do I mean by validation of the data? Like if you just look into the data, you will see something known as statistics. And yeah, please use, I urge everyone to use go-to feature and not go in the historic methods. Now, this is called the statistics of the data. Okay. And if you have a prior period data, in this case, I have got, so I'm just adding one more column and I'm going to show you the statistics. Now, this is where you can start your audit with. It can give you quite a lot of insights. You can see, and very well we can export it. But right now, I'm not focusing on the export part, let us just discuss what is here. Now, if you see, now this is a delivery note. Okay. Now, delivery note has jumped. Oh, I'm sorry, the period has changed. One second. Yeah. Now, if you see, there were roughly 248 delivery notes. The delivery notes have come down. This could, give you certain insights telling, okay, they have reduced the number of movement. Now, this clubbed with the sales invoice can give you sales vouchers for that particular delivery note style. It can give you an insight as to whether the sales have in quantum has decreased or increased, whether the delivery per sales has increased or decreased. In this case, you can clearly see that the sales has also decreased. So it is but obvious that, I'm sorry, the sales has also decreased. So it is but obvious that the delivery notes are obviously have decreased from year on year. This is like a count validation. You can see how many stock items and how many movement has happened between items and ledger. If you are seeing here, there is no movement in stock item. However, ledgers have moved. Okay, there is no movement in that as well because this is the demo data. But otherwise, you will get a clear cut insight. You can create your own validation from here. The second validation that happens is from the trial balance. Yeah, till the time it opens. Now, the second validation that happens here is in the trial balance, like if you can see here, non-current assets has both debit and credit. So what we need to do is we need to show, we can make it group wise, ledger wise. This I'm sure all of us are aware. But what I want to discuss here is now when we export this trial balance, it is in hierarchical format. Okay, the hierarchy is such that if there is any italics, that is only the ledger. If there are any regular, it means that it has subgrouping. And as you go, the final will be in italics. Okay, that's the way it's arranged. But however, this will not help us. This is like a what do you call it? It's an hierarchical system. It is not columnar. It will not help fetch us in an analysis. So what do? We take it out. We manually do the grouping and so on and so forth. So the solution for that is to use this calculator space. It is actually not just a calculator space. This is the UI of Tally. Okay, this is the place where you can interact with Tally. Let's see. I want to know cash. One second. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah. So if you see, it is clearly giving me the cash in hand balance. Similarly, if I know any bank account here, I need to know what is the bank account that they've got. HDFC Bank. Okay. So I'm sitting on the trial balance so we can just check. If you just ask the calculator panel, it will give you the balance as on the last date of voucher entry. So, these can be utilized. For example, current ratio. You can see this is the current ratio for this company. You can also ask questions like, say a balance of any particular party or say debit balances. Okay, whatever the language has been fed to the system and the backend language is SQL. So if you are aware of SQL, you can play much more with the data. But if you're not aware, this is like one UI interface. This gives you all the insights. If there is any error, the error message will also be thrown here. Tally interacts with the user from this calculator panel. So this calculator panel is not just like regular calculator. You can use it for much more, like a memory box, like when you're moving from one transaction to another. Generally, what do we do? If I've seen a balance here, I will simply note it down. For example, the bank balance was 341. 821.94. So, if you just enter it, it gets saved. So no matter where I get inside, now for example, if I want to see trade receivables, I'm somewhere here and I just want to know the balance for calculation or whatever may be the case, I can simply use this calculator and okay, so this calculator panel can do much more than just calculation. That's what I wanted to know. Now I'll tell you the use case where I have already discussed this in a lot of seminars that we've already taken.
Right.
Yes, so you like for example, select dollar name. Let me just do name from ledger. Okay.
I think the tally screen is not moving if you're moving it.
No,
Yeah,
no,
the
I'm not
code.
moving it. It is
Okay.
working.
That-
It is working. Yeah. If you see this, since this data is huge, it is taking some time, but you can clearly see now I can build on this. So if I don't know what to do, then what will I do? Now, in today's scenario, there's nothing known as don't know. We have AI to help us. So you can always say that I want to extract this trial balance from SQL query in TallyPrime, and it will one or two iterations and it will work out for you. So you can say, okay, this is I received, the other things I'm not able to receive. So in today's scenario, there is no bar into imagination. We have it goes up to like where your imagination can go. And if you have paid versions, you'll have much better responses. And here we're not even sharing the data to the AI. We're just getting fetching the code with which we can do this. And people who are well versed with Power Query, they can use the ODBC feature and bring the data out. For people who are not very aware of ODBC, since that's not the topic, I'm not taking it now. But if you're not aware of ODBC, this is one simple way where you can extract the data, like select star name, comma dollar parent, comma dollar. So here you will get. If you see, this is what we vie for. We want the parent, we want the, and we can get this information. So select star from ledger. Oh yeah, if I'm gonna do that, it's gonna fetch a lot of time. But if you use select star from ledger, it's gonna give you all the parameters that are there. There are roughly 200 plus parameters that are there. There are 200 plus columns where you have GST applicability, you'll have the VAT, service tax, whatever was there fed into the system. Every information can be fetched in columnar format. When it was created, when it was edited, who created this, all that information will also be you'll be able to fetch it out. So select star from ledger you can do, but these are the three things that we are actually wanting in the trial balance. Plus opening balance, you can just add that. You can say dollar opening balance comma debit total, credit total is a little tricky one, but you can do that. Okay. Now you will be wondering, if I take balances, opening balance for continuous data, how do we do? For that, the simple solution is, and then do the coding. You'll be getting those information. However, what I do and I suggest everyone to do is, though this gives accurate, what I would suggest is take out this trial balance in ledger wise format. Okay, take this out, debit, credit, opening, with everything there. And you can also save this view, control, all child save view, and say this is TB FY 25 26. Okay, the period is wrong here. I'm going to just change the period again. Yeah, 25 26. Now the data is correct. So you can just simply save this view. So you have no issues of, your staff taking the wrong TB. TB FY 25 26. And you can say save this as default view. As of now, I don't want this to be the default view, but I want to see additional configuration. Okay, so now this trial balance, what I suggest generally is that you take the trial balance and take out this SQL and merge them together so that you don't have this information, this query or doubt whether the data that has come out, the balances, etc., that has come out, whether that is accurate or not. For that, the best solution is that you take out the trial balance in the format, and that also I have already saved the view. I showed how to save the view. This is how you save the view. I'm just gonna um I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm going to just show the view that I have just saved 25, 26, and you can see that the trial balance will always be visible. You can make this the default view in case you want this view. Otherwise, it's always better to have the group wise and default view for viewing, because here you will not be able to view with group wise information. And this is how generally the trial balance is. This is how we take it, and we use a simple VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP and just collate the information between the two tables based on name, based on particulars. And your trial balance is now ready for analysis. Okay. And also for formulas or financial building, you can use it for multiple purposes once you have it in columnar format. So that was the idea, because this is our base to get, like, all information. I'm still going to just export this. um, Yeah, I'm just gonna export this trial balance in Excel. The meanwhile, till it is exporting, I would like to touch upon the edit log component on company level. Okay, still we are not getting into audit analytics. We are only, on the surface. We are only seeing overall. This is like basically for planning or say for initial audit. Because now our work papers have become more, focused on documentation, because that is where we are lacking as auditors, because we do the audit very well, but we fail to communicate that audit process through our work papers. So documentation is most important. So edit log of the company level, you can see it will show whether there was any edit log movement that happened. For example, in this particular data, we can see that the edit log was out, tally, it was moved to TallyPrime edit log. See, there was a time lag in the movement. So why it has happened, what has happened, if you can document this. Now this cannot be exported, but however we can print this. And after you know on this you can create your work paper. So you can say that, this is printed, you can print in PDF and then you can simply convert it into text, or you just take it and write, like, you can use comments in PDF, and you can write your comments and then create a work paper in Excel or in Word, as the case may be, on this, telling that the edit log has been maintained. However, these were the few lapses for which the management had given this response. And you can check the data between this period, because it's a couple of minutes only. If you see, it's only 9 minutes, the data has moved out. So in those cases, you can say that it was moved out for a very short span of time. And if it's satisfying to you, you can always give your comments accordingly. So this is the overall company level edit log, which is right here at company edit log. So as of now, also, if you see, the data is opened in not edit log version, it is a regular version. So obviously, if I would have moved here, you will see that this data is now migrated back to, edit log was enabled, and I migrated this data as on today, and this is in the non-edit log version. So this is how we can, document our workings. Now this was on the surface. Let's move little deeper into the data. So, so far, is there any questions that have come, or anything that you would like me to cover? You can put that also. Kindly repeat edit log activity. Okay, I will repeat that. So in edit log, if you see, So edit log, for edit log, there are two requirements that are there. First, the data should be in edit log version. However, if in case you open the data by, by error or something in the non-edit log version, edit log information is still intact. It will not change until you make any change in the non-edit log version. All information, that whatever was done in the edit log version, all that information you will be able to view it also in the non-edit log version. Okay, so the edit log overall company data, okay, when the movement between edit log, non-edit log, whether there was any data migration, this is overall company level, okay, the data level, this is not transaction level. At the data level, whatever movement has happened, everything will get captured here. So any movement, for example, this edit log was enabled, disabled, that means what? The company is using a non-edit log version. If they have the opportunity, if they have the option to enable disable, that means they are using non-edit log version, that means TallyPrime regular, okay, not the edit log version. If this could be a insight to that. That's the only reason over here it is showing me the company data migrated. Otherwise it should have shown me company data moved from TallyPrime edit log. Okay, so this will give you an insight. This enable disabled option will only come here. Only in the non-edit log version can I enable or disable edit log. Okay, it is available in company edit log. Okay, this can be your initial work paper regarding whether the first question in audit trail, whether the company has maintained audit trail for the period, throughout the year. This is the place where you can document that particular question. The second question about whether it was in force, whether the edit audit trails have been viewed, IFC, all that will come later. But this is the first question, whether it has maintained. You can see the start date. I'm again opening this. You can see the start date when it was enabled. But we can see very well that there was lot of enabling, disabling, enabling, disabling. So there is something that is happening, which can be, you can, ask questions, and after satisfaction, or as the case may be, give your opinion accordingly. So this could be a starting point of your audit. The first starting point that I mentioned was your statistics. Now I spoke about edit log. We are moving back to this data. I would have received the trial balance. Um, so with this data, let us move forward and get into the actual inbuilt analysis that is available in Tally. Then we will go into things that are not available. So let's start with data analytics first. Verification of balances. Okay. Yeah. So verification of balances. If you just look into this data, these are by automatic use, the system was able to analyze that there are two data and it has picked it up. In case it has picked up wrongly, you can always press F7 and select the actual comparable data. Once you have compared, it is giving me all the differences. You can very well see here that there are differences. However, in verification of opening balances, we don't require, yeah, we don't require revenue items. So I'm just going to remove revenue items. I want only non-revenue, and I want to have a verification note, and you can say whatever. I'm just not giving exceptions first and whatsoever. Now this, if you see, this is group wise information. You can expand it also. But since I have everything in, ledger wise information, let me just get this also in this same format. Now if you want to change, like for only a particular group, you can also do that. You can just press F4, or on the right side you will be able to see that, there is a group wise information, that is a group that is there. So in by default it will show all groups, but if you want to only see a particular group, you can always do that. But as of now I want to see all groups, and now right now I'm able to see that in all the ledgers, I'm able to see that these are the differences. Now I can always say that I want to see exceptions first. it is giving me one option here. I'm sorry, the differences. Okay, you can sort this by difference amount, decreasing, increasing, as the case may be, and you can very well see that all the differences are sitting in one place. Now once I have all the differences in one place, you can see why this has not happened. This, in this scenario, it seems like there was an audit fees provision that was made, and the same has not been moved, and also the profit element has not been moved in the data. So that is the reason why there is difference, and that's the actual exact difference. If you can see, there is no net difference of any value. So with this, your opening balance verification paper is done, and you can just ask the client. There is one small suggestion that I have, and it may sound small, but it is very, very relevant. Please do not pass any entries in your client's data. You can always now. I'm Since I'm talking to auditors here, we are not supposed to, pass or have the client's data itself. So it is advisable, in case you have any audit entries to be passed, you can always tell them, you can always sit next to them and ask them to pass. In case that's not happening, you create a specific id for passing of entries, which can clearly show that you have passed only these entries. Because I have faced and I have heard many CAs, when we interact with a lot of CAs, I have heard this comment telling, anything you ask them, your team came, they only passed entries. Have we not heard this? So this is like one major issue that we can tackle. If you say, no, I have not passed any entries, you can see the entries edited, modified, in that also. And never use client's login. Please urge them, even if they are not maintaining security, urge them to give you a separate mail ID with which only you should be logging. Okay, so that one suggestion from my end. Always urge your clients to create one specific mail ID for audit purpose. Even if they are not using security, just urge them to at least create one main admin ID and one mail ID for yourself. So that when you can easily say that we have logged in only from this, whatever editing we are doing from here will be clearly visible, and it will be, you will be aware of it. Okay, that is one suggestion which I wanted to draw here, because that's most important and very, very relevant in today's scenario, wherein you have information flowing everywhere, and the client very easily puts it that your team only would have done something, in audit only something changed. Okay, so we can tackle that issue very easily. And one more most important, when we come for voucher verification, I will take through that. So this is about the verification of balance. You can simply export this and do some other workings if required. Now let's just move further. um, Before we go into all verification, let us get into voucher verification. Okay, we will not do the other analysis, because voucher verification, there are certain points that I would like to cover. This is the screen that looks like in voucher verification, in which, like, it will show you all the vouchers that are there, how much you are sampling based on whatever method you choose, how much you have verified in case you verified in Tally. Okay, this will only show if you've done the verification in Tally, and if you've put any pending, clarified, and all of those things. The most important part is this particular last column, altered. Now, a lot of times we finish the vouching. Okay, we finish all the entries, and then we come to know the client has changed many entries. Now, if you do the vouching in Tally, this particular part will show you whichever entries. For example, let us just go inside. Yeah, this is the entire voucher. Okay, and this is all items. You can also make it, say F4 voucher type, and you can just choose the voucher type that you want. As of now, this is all items, and there are certain vouchers that have been sampled. Okay, let us just sample for, say, sales is done, purchase. Okay, we have a purchase voucher. Let us just sample that particular information. Yeah. So we have around say 45 vouchers here. So I want to sample a few vouchers for this. So we can just select that and click Alt B, sampling methods, and these are the available options here. You can either choose all vouchers, amount range, say I want to only based on materiality. I don't want to do anything that falls below the trivial threshold. Okay, absolute trivial threshold. Generally, it is 5% of the overall materiality. So some auditors might take a call telling, I will not touch any transaction that falls below the trivial threshold. Okay, so you can everyone can have their own basis of sampling. It is always advisable to have an unbiased, and you need to also document the method of sampling. So this will help you in that. This is the only scientific method meant for analysis. All others are all based on just random sampling. This is amount based. These are invoice number based. And specific period could be like if you know that there is a risk of usage. Say for example, March month you want to see if there are any entries passed to boost sales or something like that. If you have any particular information in hand based on which you want to do, then you will use specific period. Otherwise, or you say that this is the most important period of that business. Imagine Diwali or say holiday sales, something like that. If you want to do, then you can always choose specific period. Specific vouchers are where you're hand picking the vouchers. Okay, so let's do say Benford itself. Now, this positive, negative. Okay, there are two types. So there is a law given by Benford telling that there this particular number of voucher will appear, like the first digit of transaction value will appear n number of times in the voucher. So whether that particular transaction value is appearing yes or no. Now this positive or negative is whether are you agreeing to it or you're not agreeing to it. Okay, the variance whether it's going to be whether you're agreeing, if you say agreeing, positive or negative. Generally, negative gives more sample count, and positive gets gives less. So let's just test that. Actually, I am also doubtful with that particular part. So I did positive first. Now I'm gonna negative first. Now I'm gonna do positive. Okay, yeah, the positive gives more samples. It depends all most of the time, but most of the times positive gives the more count of sample. Now this is a scientific method. If your client has lower risk, and you have analyzed the risk and there are not much risk in the data, then this sampling method would be sufficient. If your client has higher risk, then this method might not be sufficient. You might have to do other than this. Okay, so you can always say that this is a scientific method, and from we will vouch this. If there is not much risk, this is enough. If there is much risk, then I will increase my sample size, and that will be a different methodology. You can always choose that. There is no harm in that. Okay, now if you can see, you can simply export this and your work paper is done. But you want to know whether it is positive or negative variation. I will take you through one more screen here. You can just come out and go, or you can also go from internal details. Now, if you see this will give you whichever whether you have taken negative, positive, or whatever other sampling method. For example, let me go back here and I want to give in like for contra. Generally, we say we will sample all. So I will say all vouchers here. Yeah, this is all vouchers. Say for petty cash. Let's say for petty cash, I want to go based on amount range. Okay, I want to go minimum amount, say 1,000 rupees. Okay, I don't want to vouch anything below 1,000 rupees, and I'm not giving maximum amount here. So it will give me all values that are above 1,000 rupees. 73 vouchers are there, and if I want to further go, I can do so. Now, when I go here, you can clearly see this is the sampling variation. Okay, this will give you the entire details of what type of sample has happened here. Now you want to do random sampling. This is also available. For example, this particular value. These are the total number of vouchers. And sample, imagine I want say 100 sample. It will be doing based on percentage or vouchers. I say vouchers and random sampling is there. So there are many more methods, not just restricted to that. Now I have my random sampled invoices. So you can do even random sampling here, and you have 100 invoices out of 4,000 invoices that were there. Okay, so there are a lot of methodologies in which you can sample your invoices and you will get the vouchers. Now, coming back to our these scientific samples, like if you come inside this, you will be able to see that there are how many total vouchers, how many verified vouchers, how many sample vouchers, so on and so forth. You can just keep going through and through this. Now, let me just end this particular sampling methodologies here and let's get into sample vouchers. Let me get into sales. Okay, now these are my sampled vouchers, but however, if you see, I'm not able to see much details. Even if I expand, this is what I can see. Okay, so if you're doing it in Tally, this is sufficient. This is fine. But if you're doing the voucher verification in Excel, if you're exporting this, the best solution that I could give is export the sales register in columnar format and simply pull this particular voucher sample based on the voucher number, because that's the unique field in sales. That could be the unique field. You can simply pull based on voucher number. Use a simple X lookup or B lookup to get whatever comes as NA is not the sample. Okay, that in that way, in columnar, you'll have all information. You can also expand that information to say, I want inventory wise information, and you can always go ahead with that. But in case you're doing in Tally, if that is happening, this is sufficient. This screen is sufficient. If need be, you can just export the columnar register and keep for your reference, but this work paper would be sufficient. You can just expand this here. Now, the most important thing, how do you enter a transaction for audit purpose? Anyone, any insight on that? How do you enter a transaction in any for audit purpose? How do you open a transaction for verification for audit purpose? If I have to get inside this transaction, what is the key that I need to press? Any idea? Any insight? Alt tab, shift enter, simply enter. Okay, see, same question, multiple answers, but I am very glad that there is one right answer that has come in. Mr. Atul Kumar. Yes, that's the right answer. For audit purpose, you should always press only Alt Enter and no other key. You should always press Alt Enter. This is the same screen of entry without the permission to edit. Okay, for please teach your team, your articles, your staff, please teach them this is how you should be getting inside the voucher. In this way, not even the edit log is going to capture anything. Okay, so this is the methodology to enter a voucher for audit purpose, for an analysis purpose, for any purpose other than voucher modification. If you are not intending to modify the voucher, this is the way you should be entering. Here you can press shift enter to expand it. Okay, wherever you have information, you can press shift enter. Every information, right from the description, right till go down name, you can, I'm sure you can see it on the screen. Even the accounting allocation, the sales ledger for this particular item. Again, for the next item, you can again expand it. So if you need, you can expand. If you don't need that, it's not required to be expanded also. Okay, you can clearly see that everything, the bill wise reference, bill allocation, the accessible value, the tax details, everything can be updated. There is one question that has come in the chat box. What is the problem in entering shift enter first? There is no problem, but it is not going to fetch you anything other than the major details. So if you have to vouch the entry, you have to get inside the entry. But enter is not the right method. you can always press alt enter. In that way, you will definitely, even by mistake, you can't edit this transaction. You try as much of editing as possible. You will not be able to enter any part of the transaction. Okay, and I have gotten request regarding explaining the sampling method again. We will do that. But I will have to go a little faster in that because we have a lot more to cover. But I will again explain this right from the very beginning. Okay, we are going back and then we will go further. So voucher verification, it is available. You can always do it through Alt G, voucher verification. Okay, voucher verification. If you don't know where the place is, you can always search for it. Alt G is the universal place where you can search anything. Okay, you just need to know the terminology. Voucher verification is the screen I want to go for, and this is how I'll reach it. Now, verification of vouchers is the place. If you press enter, you will be able to see all details. Okay, once you see this information, you just have to select it and just press sampling configuration. Yeah, you can just select this and simply press sampling configuration. You will be able to choose your sampling method. If you want to do random sampling, you will have to get into master configuration and go into sampling methods. You'll be getting all the description. You can simply select and say I want to do sampling or I want to do random sampling, as the case may be. So there are methodologies that are there which you can utilize, and this can be your work paper for sampling methodology, because you need to create work papers which says what was your methodology, what was your audit objective, what are the assertions, and this would be a great work paper for that, for sampling methodology. For your sampling details, you can take this voucher where how many verified, how many sampled, all that can be there. This could be your overall work paper. If you just get inside this, you can get this, will be your secondary work paper, which will give you insight about voucher type wise. Okay, now moving to the verification. This is sampling, and the methodology can be chosen. You can simply just select and you can just press Alt B. For people who do not know, this might be repetition for people who know. If you see these alphabets on the right, if it's followed by a single dash, single underscore, then it is called, you have to use Alt with that alphabet. If it's followed by, if it's suffixed by double underscore, then it means you have to use control with that alphabet. Okay. Yeah, I have a question on related party and forex. In the paucity of time, we will not be covering it at the moment, but in case we do have time, we will be covering, because we just have like half an hour time. So I'll try to cover the topics that we have initially planned. Any other topic we will try to cover at the end. Okay. So master configuration, you can get inside this. Related party, we may be able to cover that, but forex is a different topic itself, so I would require more time for that. So maybe it may not be possible to cover it at this point in time. You can definitely connect with me offline. You can take it up then. Okay, so now this master configuration, once you do, in this sampling method will give you all the sample styles that you've taken. Okay, and you can, for example, I want to do purchase and I want to do random sampling. Okay, this is for all vouchers. It is total vouchers it is applying to. So this is over and above the particular sample. This is okay. So you can always get into random sampling and not do all these specifically. You can also do it only by method of random sampling. Now, once sampling method has been designated and you have come with your sample size, you can get inside this particular section. Just press enter and you're ready with your sample vouchers. Now, if you press alt enter, I saw the vouchers, I saw the document, everything is matching. I'm just presuming, okay, because I don't have that information right now with me. I can simply put verify on hold. Okay, verification status verified. if you want to put any verification note, or you can just say matching with invoice, no mismatches found, whatever. Yeah. Once you put that, your first vouching is done. Similarly, if you have any queries, imagine this voucher, you had a query, okay, and you wanted to write a remark here. So I have an external clarification that is required. Say quantity, there is a mismatch. You can also write as per document, it is something, okay, or as per document, whatever, be the quantity. So you can just write that. And who do you want to get the clarification from? Now there are no users. Otherwise, you can also write that also. From which user you want to get the clarification one. Now, right now, I can say any. And this is the clarification. Okay. Now imagine we have done some vouching, right? Now let's just come out of the screen and see what has happened to our overall screen. You can say that you can see that the vouchers have already moved to their respective buckets, and everything has been updated. Now let's assume, see, there is one verified, one pending. We did only two vouchers, so it is showing everything here. Now let's assume that we verified this voucher. Okay, I'm going through the verification channel itself because I want to show this also. So now imagine I came here and I'm getting inside the transaction now. Okay, and I'm making some modifications here. Let's presume let's presume that I'm making some modification here, and I am adding this to be okay. Let's say I made this 16,000 rupees. Okay, I made this transaction change here, and the GST of course would have changed. So let us just make that change also. Yeah. So let us just go ahead and I'll just simply accept this. Okay, once this is done, now can you see the status has automatically changed here to altered. Even when I come out, you will be easily able to see from verified that invoice has moved and it has come and sat into altered. So you need not worry about whether the transaction has been, whether what will happen if after I vouch they make any changes. You will come to know through this column, altered column. Okay, so this is what it is for voucher verification. You can have internal observations, external clarification, so on and so forth. You can put it on hold also. All those options are there. You just have to press enter on the voucher and you'll be able to see. So this is what is about voucher verification. um, any queries so far?
There are quite a few in the Q&A as well, and some here also in the chat.
Can we go ahead with that? Because voucher verification, I'll close it now.
Voucher verification, I think somebody showed to show how did the sampling method is coming up. I think
That we have covered again.
about, yeah, how to
Yeah.
move from pending to clarified in voucher verification.
Pending to clarified. Okay. So, yeah, good question. So now we are in the sales voucher. Okay. Now we had this external clarification. Now we had this, and you will simply move it to, say verified. And you can note it down. Just 1 second. Sorry. Uh, just 1 second. Yeah. So, we can move that through this particular space. You have to just come here. you will be able to see this, and you simply move it to verified. This particular clarification, one second, there is some, yeah, there is no specific method to make this show priorities and clarification, and whether this is I'm sorry, I wanted to take this. Now this is most important. Okay, now there could be many kinds of clarification that you want, and if there is very very critical clarification that you want, you will have to set priority here. So if you say that it is high priority, those are important ones. For example, that there is some indication of say some amounts getting constantly trampled, then you can set the priority here. And who, what is the, what kind of clarification, what kind of category do you put this particular issue in? So whether it is like, there's no supporting, there is, it's not connected to business, whether there is a issue in authorization, so on and so forth. Whether it's like, if it's a new category, you can simply create a new one, and so on and so forth. So imagine over here, it seems to me, um, say quantity mismatch. So I can also create one. Okay, and I'm not putting under high, I would put it under medium. Okay, so yes, so this I can put it here, and this particular details you will be able to see in, like, in the detailed report. You can say that, whether you want to see the clarification note, whether you want to see the verified time and date, and so on and so forth, you want to see the category or not, etc, etc. You will be able to see all those information as and when you want. However, once I put this, I can only verify this and say that I have verified it. Yeah. So now you can see that external clarification, nothing is lying. Though it is not moving to clarified at at this moment, it is coming to verified at least. But however, this particular information, you can just take it out and keep for the time being. I will definitely get back to this, how to move it to clarified portion, because this was one drawback that I had observed. Now, related parties, someone had asked me. For example, let me just get into some debtors maybe, or creditors, and just imagine this person is a related party. You simply have to select yes, and it will ask you the relationship type. Say associate. Okay, I'm just going to write associate, and it will accept it. So it'll just, you just have to just select this, and once that is done, yeah. Over here, you will be able to see all the related party transactions. That's how we can check. Now it has come clearly that there are 34 related party transactions with this associate. So you can verify based on this particular information. This is the related party information that you can do. I'll show again related party transactions. You can just select all the ledgers. Okay, master configuration, you can do related party, and just choose whichever related party you have to convert, whichever party is a related party, just mark them as related party, define the relationship, and you're good to go. Just imagine HO account is definitely related party, so yes, and you can say holding, okay, or something like that. Okay, so holding, based on the classifications as required by Companies Act or as required by Income Tax Act, you can put it based on what audit you're doing, and accordingly this also can be taken out. Now in F12, you can show primary group, you can say yes or no, and in the relation or related parties, you can simply export this and filter all the related parties and keep it intact. Now, once I have selected this as related party, you can see the total number of vouchers with transaction with each related party, and you can simply pick your samples also here. Okay, just get inside the transaction and you have the transaction. You can select all and say set manual sampling. It will say manually sampled if you select them as manual sampling. Um, Yeah, I've done it. It will take some time to get it done. So, once you do that, it will show as manually sampled. It will not show based on that Benford. It will show as manually sampled. And these are also part of your sample verifications. So this way you can finish all your voucher verifications here. Okay, can you see on the on the bracket here, just after particulars, it will show here manually sampled, and this will also be forming part of your sampling data. Yeah. So this way, the sampling is completely taken care of. And forex, there is no forex transaction in this sample data, but all forex transaction will be shown here, and you can do your verification accordingly. Okay. If forex is enabled and the transactions have been recorded in foreign currency, all such transaction will be shown in this particular section, and this is your entire data. You can change your analysis period on this. You can simply select the select F2, where how we are doing for all other places. Select F2, and you can just simply change the year in case the year has been taken wrongly. Okay, with this
Yeah,
we are
Monica, see,
closing this
there's one question that
yeah.
6 people have asked, and it's the same one. It's
Yeah,
related
tell me.
to in verification of opening balances. How do you set the closing balance of one company and opening balance as the another company? I
Yeah, we are
think.
coming back to this particular chart only. Thank you for bringing me here. So yeah, so verification of balances. Okay, so you will open the company. You have to select outside itself the company for which you want to do the verification. Select the period here itself correctly. Okay, though Tally has some smart analysis features, it will auto detect also. In case that is not properly detected, you can change the period here also. 202526. Okay, now the previous year company, generally auto select won't happen, but since I have already started the analysis, it is happening. In case it's a continuous data, it will automatically select the previous period for analysis generally. Okay, in case none of that is happening, okay, you have this compare company option. Okay, you can simply select the company that you want to compare, and the period will be auto selected because 25-26 is selected here. Previous year will be auto selected as 24-25, and verification of balances will happen. And over here, in case you forgot to do it outside, you can also do it inside. Okay, you can compare it from here also. So in case you had any errors in the previous screen, you can also do it here. Here also you have a master verification, which is the same thing which we had for voucher verification. So in case you come across any related party in this process, you can also mark it from here. Okay. And in today's scenario in Tally, you can display report over report. Okay. Imagine now I want to suddenly go to say stock summary. So I can simply come from here itself. I need not come out of the screen. I'm back. I'm in stock summary now. Come back. Just press one escape. I'm back to this screen. Okay, there are a lot of screens that you can toggle between, and all these reports can lay over each other. Imagine now suddenly you have to pass an entry. You can simply say create voucher. All I'm doing through go to Alt G is a shortcut key. So I can simply pass a voucher, say F7. I want to pass, let's just pass audit fees. Audit fee, say 10,000 rupees. Okay, I'm just passing a random audit fees entry 10,000, and I want to do new reference, say provision. Okay, I'm passing this entry. The audit fees payable 9,000. See, automatic. It's auto detecting the TDS because it's enabled here. Okay, so say TDS on professional, 10,000 rupees. Okay, this is all automatically enabled, so it's just happening. This is what it is. So I will say audit fees provision made. As of now, okay, so this is the provision for the year. and the entry is passed, I'm back to this screen. So this is the advantage of working in the newer versions of Tally. Any version about 2.1, this feature is available. And if you use the latest version, it's advisable because all these edit log features, everything has come in the latest versions only. Moving forward, Komal, how much time do we have? Are we okay to extend further or how is it?
We have 20 minutes now.
20
So,
minutes?
yeah.
Okay, with the request, I will just move ahead. I will now be going a little more faster than how I was going earlier because I wanted to spend some time on sampling and vouching because a lot of us still do it outside. I wanted to drive the point that we can do it within the software, wherein it is so dynamic that you can actually monitor the changes. That's the whole idea of spending that much time in sampling. And I saw some conversations in the chat also telling that I was going pretty fast. So that's the reason I repeated once more and showed you one sample each. Like, I can't show you all transactions. So I tried to show one category each for, for your better understanding. So now moving forward, verification of chart of accounts. Verification of stock items is similar. Okay. Now, these are certain analytics. Okay. For example, accounts squared off during the year. I'm moving very fast now, so please bar my speed. But I'll try to cover as much as possible, and obviously there is recording available, so you can definitely revisit. Okay, so now these are all the accounts that are squared off during the year. You can see that now with this I will not be able to see much. But if I see group names and I see primary group, then I can get better insights. Yes, so now I have this full information. Now I can see that these are accounts squared off. There's a sundry creditor that is squared off. You can simply get inside the transaction. Okay, simply you sorry, 1 second. Yeah. You can simply show ledger and you can just, and these are all clear cut payments, so everything is fine. I am audible and visible, right? I'm sorry, audible and my screen is visible, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Yeah. So once you get all this information, you can simply get into this entry. Alt enter is the shortcut key to enter inside. You can see now you can see that there is a expense entry and there's a payment for it. Looks fine. If you want to see further, like for example, this particular entry, you can again see there are payment entries, there are journal entries that are there, and the journal entries are consistent. So this looks fine. So you can just create your verification status. You can simply press enter. Yeah, you can simply press enter and say verified. And you can say entries are in similar nature. Something like that. Okay, so you can create your work papers right here is the whole idea that I wanted to draw. So now these are certain attraction points because these are the accounts that didn't have opening balance, had some transaction, they got squared off. Okay, so you might have some things that have moved from one ledger to another. All that can be checked in this. The second category, not used at all. These are ledgers that can be deleted, or some entries might have been missed out. Imagine if you have audit fees entry here, that means audit fees provision is not done. Similar to that, if you have prepaid expense ledger here that is not used in the current year, then those ledgers you can use. Now, for example, audit is here. There is a closing balance, but it is not used in current year. Okay, something like this you will be able to come across. For example, office expenses, there is a closing balance, however, the same has not been used during the year. So, you can get some insights from this. There could be, most of it could be normal, but you can just, since it is already bifurcated, it can give you a better insight. What I have given you one, two examples of each, you can infer many other. Okay, not used. Only balance last year used in current year. So this could be where there was only balance in last year. This again you can have the groups, say all items, and I want to see the group. Only if you see group you will be better understanding. Now this one, There was only balance last year. That means no transaction in last year. Current year, I'm able to see transaction. It has been closed. The ledger has been closed. So those kind of insights you can get. Only balances, no transaction. Now these are places where there are balances but no transaction. What does it mean? Now let me just open this grouping. You can export all of this. You can see all of it together also. Okay. So if you just see here and you can see all exceptions, you will be able to see all. Okay. As of now, I'm not doing all that because it will become a bigger report. But if you want, you can see all the exceptions together also. Okay. Now, if you see plant and machinery, there is no movement. What could it mean? Any inference? Plant and machinery, no movement. Yes, no depreciation. No depreciation, right. But we have missed out one point here. We have to find out how is this particular, SSE or the client maintaining their books. They could have this concept of gross and accumulated depreciation, right? So we need to figure out that in this case, they have this concept of gross value and accumulated depreciation. So depreciation will not be provided in this ledger. It will only be provided in accumulated depreciation ledger. Okay. But however, this is a good inference. Regroup. Now, this is what is very interesting. Now, these are all the ledgers that were in one group, particular group last year, now regroup. For example, they were all sitting in trade payables. They have been regrouped to current liabilities. You can see the accuracy, correctness, and accordingly use it. Used only in current year is like, as the name suggests, these are new ledgers. You can just say if there are any new items that have come in, new if there are new kinds of stock items created, new kind of ledgers created for some particular sales, it could be that there are more nature of activity would have changed. So it could give an insight on that. If in a particular nature of ledgers have increased or newly created, it could give such kind of insights where which can help you in understanding this thing. See, practically I can show you, but this has more to do with thinking process. So I'm just trying to trigger that thinking process. Similar is there for stock items. I'm not going to go in depth over here. However, I just want to take one particular aspect in stock items. Yeah. Over here, you have one thing called daily negative stock. Okay. Now you can see here, negative stock, 10 stock items not verified is 10. There are 10 stock items here that have negative. You can enable audit features at the end of the year as well. Okay, these are the 10 stock items that are showing as negative, and this negative stock obviously cannot be there. What could be the reason for the stock item being negative? Any inference other than the chance of fraud? Other than the chance of fraud, what could be the negative stock inference? Any inference that you can think of? Okay, stock JV is not entered. Yes. Okay, access recognized. So, it could be that, they've chosen instead of A stock item, they've chosen B stock item. Or where there is manufacturing, they've not moved from raw materials to finished good, but finished good is already sold off. So those kind of errors could be there. Instead of say there are so many color stones here, right? 200, 275, 365, 40. Instead of choosing say 201, they chose 200. Instead of choosing 270, say 290, they chose 275. So these could be the inference. Okay, these could be the errors that are there. So because of which we have, how can we analyze accounts having only transaction and no balances? Those are only those, only transaction, no balances. I don't have any such ledger here. Only transaction, no balances could be where, where there are, only reimbursements could be one example, where the amount comes in, amount goes off. Okay. So you can just see if that account is not just squared off by moving to another ledger. It is not circulation or what do you call it, evergreening. Okay, that is not happening. It is actually supposed to be closed, and that is why it is closed. That could be the analysis that you can do. Um, Analytical procedures. I will spend another 2 minutes on this and relative size factor. After which you can do all other things on your own. Like for example, this transaction on holiday, you can determine the holiday list. Okay, and you can see if there are any transactions that are passed on a holiday. As of now, you can see these many transactions are passed on Sunday. You can inquire whether it was a working day for a particular person or so on and so forth, and then do this. You can also configure the holidays. Say weekly off is say Saturday and Sunday. Okay, and all the dates that are off. You can just write and say, write the reason. For example, 26 January is Republic Day, like that. So a lot of you can just set up all the holidays. I'm not doing that. So now anything if it have been passed, all those transactions will show here. You can analyze those transactions. Now if you see, there are so many stock journals that are passed on on a Sunday. It could be an indication where there could be some mishap that is happening, or it could be a genuine transaction they would have missed to change the date. So all those items can be done. This is transaction. Repeated transactions is for all, if you have salary, rent, you can just see how many transactions are there. Now I want to take you through relative size factor. Okay, generally the notion is that any particular transaction, it will the relative size of the transaction would be closer to. Okay, it will be closer to the okay, to the next uh, transaction. Okay, so if you will not have transactions like I'm buying for 5,000 and I will buy for 25,000 suddenly. Okay, it will not be there. It will almost be closer. Okay, if there is not, then there is some changes that have happened. That's the whole idea behind this. Okay, now I have enabled all of this just to show you. You can enable whatever you want. Groups, you are already aware, this is nothing but the highest value in that particular ledger, the average value in that particular ledger, and how many invoices are there, and what is the relative size factor. Okay, now let us go into TDS on rent. Ideally it should have been same. You can clearly see that from 4,500 the TDS has moved to 35,000. That means clearly the rent has increased much more for the amount to go from 4,500 to 35,000 straight. So there will be rent also. There is some place where I'm continuously getting some emojis. Can someone please take care of that? Um, yeah. So now this particular information, I'm sorry. Yeah. So you can, infer with those particular information. Again, I'm just enabling everything. This RSF value for opposite behavior, meaning like, wherein the values are, instead of, being like it could be in lesser than the count, like loan amount and all, if you see. Yes, recording will be available. Loan amount, if you can see, there is like little bit variation in the loan amount, but however, it is in an say an increasing trend. So those kind of inferences is what they are trying to infer. So this is what the relative size factor would entail. So you can get this insight telling that if there are any transactions wherein I have I have lot of variance. You can get into those transactions and check. That's the relative size factors. Highest and lowest value transactions for each ledger. This will be most apt for cash. Yeah. So the highest is 30,000, lowest is 20 rupees. So that means there's no negative here directly. Okay. And if you want to see the ledger, you can say show ledger, and you can check if there is any highest or negative, cash balance. Now over here, if you see, it is actually negative. Yeah, negative cash is what one thing I wanted to show you. So I'm getting into the ledger. I'm moving outside this topic for just 2 minutes, and I'm going to show you negative cash balance, how we can check. Yeah. So this is the cash balance. You can simply go for F12. Okay. Show. Okay. Yeah. Daily balance. In this F12, you can do net transactions, average, show highest and lowest balance, and closing balance. You can do it daily or monthly. This is the table which shows that these many days cash is there, and here is where the negative balance. That means there is negative cash throughout the year. Now this is end of the year, so we were able to find out. But imagine if it's only for a couple of period, a couple of days in between the year, you will be able to see from this particular report. Now, if you want to see daily, if you don't want to see daily, you can also make it say fortnightly, 4 week month. You can say weekly, I want to see it. So you will be able to see it weekly also. Okay, so this will create your negative cash work paper. Similarly, you can do for negative stock as well. Okay, so this is about cash. Now, one more item I would like to cover here is the loan account. Okay, so this is the loan amount. Imagine this is the loan. Okay, now I need to have, the balance, running balance. After every transaction, you can just take maximum of this, and you have that information. You want more information, bill wise, and so on and so forth, you can take it. Show ITC at risk. This is for ITC related information. As of now, I'm not touching it. But since I was able to see this, this is for GST. Okay, if you've not paid that amount, you can have that ITC risk issue. So that is the work paper for that. But this is for loan. You can simply export this and just take highest value. You can take the total credits, total payments done by bank methods. All those inputs can be arrived here. Okay. Now, final and foremost in our agenda, we had covered opening balance. We had covered automate work papers is nothing but we can simply save those views, and for every other client, you can simply open this. So any work paper that we discussed today, you can simply create, like for example, this is the work paper that you want to see, voucher verification screen. You can save that view as your work paper. You can save WP1 sample configuration, WP2 sampling method, WP3 sample vouchers. So you can simply save views in any of the screen and create your work paper. So that is the automation, because once you have set up the settings for one client, you need not do it again for other clients. You can simply save the work paper view and always keep opening it. Okay, so that was the whole idea about automating. Now, data mining is like the search option that they have given. Okay, you can do data mining. We were doing a lot of data mining actually here. Apart from that, also, there are certain things wherein you can, for example, you know that you want to find, say, invoice number, say, ending with 589. Let's see if we are able to find. There was no such transaction. Include similar, nothing I'm able to find. So let me just make it 58. Maybe I find something. Okay, these are all with 58. Now, this is an ad hoc search. Okay, but if you have exact information and you don't know, like what is it? Like, now I can see unknown gems, right? So let me just put, no, ESI, employees contribution. Okay, contribution. Okay, spelling mistake. Okay, there's a spelling mistake. I'm trying to find that. Now, since I already said, now I say exact match, nothing I can find. But immediately, if I say similar, I can see contribution. There was a spelling mistake of I, but still it was able to find me this particular information. If you have any particular name, for example, we decided that um, any particular party is a related party, you can search with short forms and so on and so forth and find out if there are any transactions. So details of match, it will say that okay, this is matching closer to what you have written, that is why we have chosen these items. Okay, these are the details of the match, and you can do some data mining here based on say voucher number, any information in fact of the transaction or master. Okay, you know the PAN number, based on that you can find the GST number, so on and so forth. Okay, moving forward,
Monica ji,
Komal.
yeah, we are actually past the time, so better if
Yeah,
I've
yeah, I'm
answered.
planning to wind it up. That's what I was trying to ask
Yeah,
you.
so there are 13 open-ended questions in the Q&A. Please refer to that.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, great. So there is just one closure. Give me just 2 minutes. I'll just wind up everything that we have discussed so far. And I will just show you places where you can find more information, and we will wind it up with this. So there are certain exception reports that are available, like what are the cancelled vouchers, optional vouchers, overdue payments, receipts, and all of those negative ledgers, cash, so on and so forth. Everything can be taken from this exception reports. Apart from that, you can also type exception here. Okay, and you can see that there are a lot of other exception report. If I expand all and I'll say show more, okay, show inactive as well, and I will say exception. Okay, these are all the exception reports available. Now imagine you want to say email IDs. You can also say, a ledger email IDs and so on and so forth. These are also available for all the parties. If you have given that information, you will be able to see all that information at one go. GST, PAN, so on and so forth. Everything can be done like that. So ledgers without PAN. So you can see all the ledgers that are without PAN. As of now, they have nothing without PAN here. So all those inferences and those information can be checked. So these are certain more analysis that you can do. If you just go and see the reports that are there, you will be able to find much more. But the idea here is to create these as work papers, save them. Like for example, I have bills payable, bills receivable. Okay, I have this particular information. I have this bill wise information wherein I know what is the date and I can create the bill wise information. Now if I don't want like this, I also have it like this. Okay, say 0 to 180. I'm only doing that much because I don't have time. You can do as many as you want. So 0 to 180, less than 180. So you can have that buckets here itself, and everything is segregated right away. Okay, party wise. If you don't want this much breakup, you don't want bill wise, then you can make it ledger wise. And you will have this based on, say bill wise. So F8, you can do control head change view, bills receivable, control head change view, say movement analysis, and so on and so forth. There are many reports. Depending on your need, you can create your outstanding breakup of receivables, right? Whether it is more than 180 days, less than 180 days, so on and so forth. So there are many more reports. Due to paucity of time, I'm stopping here, but there are like lot of reports that you can actually go through. If this edit log version, I am just gonna introduce it to you. We may plan another session specifically for edit log, but right now I'm just introducing the space where it is. This is the edit log version. You can always select all vouchers and see. Okay, since it was not in edit log, I'm sorry, the edit log data is here. So edit log summary, and you can see all the vouchers. You can see F5 and C. There are a lot of reports here. Please go through all of this. This can give you all the insights, how many versions are there, and you can also say what and all versions you want to see, what and all versions you don't want to see. So all that is also possible. Please look into this. Like you want to see like all vouchers, you want only altered vouchers, deleted vouchers, so on and so forth. There are many um, say default versions only. uh, these are default versions, these are all versions, so on and so forth. Okay, so please get into this is like a total topic in itself, but I just wanted to introduce it to you so that you can also look into this will be your IFCR testing work paper that you can do. You can take some samples and just create your work papers on that. So with this, thank you. I apologize for overshooting by 10 minutes. However, I really hope that this was insightful for you. Komal, we can go up with questions if any.
Yeah, please do open the Q&A. Actually, I've answered 20 plus questions already. In the Q&A, the 13 ones, I think that needs your
Okay, great. If how you have add-ins in Excel for Python and Claude? This is an off-topic question, but you can simply go to add-ins and just click them. Um, And you can also include this question. How can you repeat options arranging ledger alphabetically group wise? Arranging ledger alphabetically group wise. You can simply go to sorting. See, in any screen, you have this sorting method. You can simply say alphabetical and you can sort it. If you want to do it group wise, you'll have to go outside and do it. You can't directly do it here. But alphabetically, you can definitely sort it here itself. If data is split data, is this verification helpful? Yes, it is. I have done it with split data only. You can also do it with continuous data, but I have actually used split data and I have deliberately changed values so that you see some differences here and there. Can you repeat positive and negative part? Benford, this is just to understand the Benford is a law. Okay, it's a scientific method of one particular variance. Okay, so the law says that there is a chance of a first digit appearing n number of times. If you accept it, you say positive. If you don't accept it, you say negative. Okay, that's the whole part of it. What is Benford analysis? This is already answered. How many types of filters are here? There are quite a few filters. Actually, that's a topic in itself. We will soon plan a session on this, Komal, on filters and all these edit log options because
yeah.
this is like a good topic that you can take about. But there are a lot of filter options that are available.
Yeah, also just want to add that we've also covered report filters itself in our CA Connect series. So please do go through the CA Connect playlist. You will find the entire session in itself. But definitely we will take it up. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. So, no additions during the current year. Yes, yes, correct. That was a suggestion given. Stock journal miss. Okay.
I think that's not a question. Let's move because
Yeah. We are moving. Does transactional data be fetched through Power Query? Yes, it is possible. You need to know a little advanced Power Query options. Yes, it is possible. Transactional data can be pulled. Can we see number of ledgers, group, cost centers, items, taxes? Yes. Everything is possible. In statistics, you'll see most of them. Cost centers and everything you can see in chart of accounts as well. So yes, you can see the numbers of ledgers and stocks, items and everything. Do we have feature where there is requirement of deduction of TDS and the same has not been done, then highlight? Yes, it highlights. You have to go to TDS 26Q report, and once if you've enabled it right, it will definitely show there as not deducted. It'll throw as error. This relative size factor is for particular year. This is for particular year. You can't do it for two different. You can do it for two different year maybe, but I don't think that is also possible. This then you have to take it outside and do it. This is only for that year. How to mark particular amount as account as related party? This was already discussed live. How to use aging feature. Aging feature, due to paucity of time, I had quickly gone through. We will answer all questions, and whoever wants to stay behind after this, we can definitely take the aging part. Shortcut key for data mining. The shortcut key, see, data mining is a concept. I just gave you 2, 3 methods in which you can mine the data. The shortcut key is Alt F. You can see on the top of the screen itself, Alt F. This is a filter. Okay, this is one way of just getting the information without knowing the actuals. Even if you know ad hoc something, you can simply still find it. That's the whole idea. How to use aging feature? You can use aging for say for your bill wise breakup. You can use it for your trade receivables, payables, when you need to prepare the table in schedule 3. Now you need to do it even for regular also. So that would be useful there. Aging feature also can be useful in how will you put it, for determining stock aging, no, where you need to do the checking whether how long the stock has been available. Even there you can do the aging, but stock aging will not happen inside, you'll have to do it outside. It's so fast, ready data table, just pressing button without telling summary. We are not able to understand anything. This you can definitely revisit the session
Recording,
live.
yes. Yeah, yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there was a contradictory comment that we received, that we are explaining too much. So there are like two sets of audience that we are catering to. How do we stop disabling? You have to get into edit log version. There's no other method. Or also you can disable this particular option in security as well for certain users. Where was I? Yeah, means how to restrict. I am not able to get this question.
Yeah, I think one question we can take it up, that is, please show where we can see number of ledgers, group, cost center, item, customer, vendor. Is it like a table did you show during the?
Yeah, it is statistics. You can go to statistics and do it. I'm just showing that. Any other question, you can just look into Komal and we'll answer that.
I have saved the date in saved view. If I cannot change, if I changed, not changed, or I'm not sure what. If I save the date in saved
Yeah,
view.
1 second. I'll just finish this and we'll take it
Hmm.
up. So this is the statistics where you can see all the information, stock group and everything. Cost centers, not directly here. However, you can see here. I think cost center is not enabled for this party, so you're not able to see, but otherwise you can see everything. Units, voucher types, everything you can see here. This is statistics. Okay, you can compare also with two companies or two periods. What was the question? I'm sorry. I have saved the data in saved view. If not, if I changed, not changed automatically in saved view, right? Yes. This thing of changing the data in saved view, yes, you can't do it. You can't change the information directly. Though there are few features that you can use, like you can modify saved views only for certain items, but be careful, or you can delete and redo it. Whether a proper report can be downloaded for all action completed. I am not understanding this question, but if you
Yeah,
have
I think we
completed any
are done.
action
Yeah,
here,
I was just replying to one answer. So I think, so one thing, I think we received many questions, even I've answered in chat. So a lot of people were saying, how do we restrict enabling edit log or not? So see, today she took as an audit, and it can be for both company as well as non-company. So for internal control perspective, we had given this option in a normal tally where you can enable or disable. But for companies where it is mandatory to have an audit trail, you have to use edit log version. And there you don't need to restrict, because edit log version does not allow you to disable the
you
edit log.
cannot restrict.
So
You
that was the
don't need, no,
question
you
which
cannot.
Mr. Chandrasekhar was asking. That was a question I've answered for 5 different people. That if you are
Okay.
doing company audit, please use edit log version only. But today's session was on audit session as a whole. So it can include businesses for non-company such as sole proprietorship, HUF, LLP. So for those, you can use normal tally. And for internal control perspective, you can use the edit log option, whether to enable or disable it to see if there is some
Yes,
fuzzy
Komal has
example.
from a non-accountant, she has become a pro accountant now.
No. So, no, because this question has been come up, so
Yes,
I
yes.
just
No, no.
wanted to make it
I
yeah.
was appreciating you anyways. There is only one question that I would like to answer. They said whether report schedule of particular time is possible. Two questions actually. Particular time, see, time frame, you can always select the period. Okay, it is possible. Regarding this, analyze accounts having only transaction, no balance, loan specifically, they had asked, you can change the group for that. There was analytics, right, where we had the report analysis and verification. There you can simply change, like verification of chart of account. You had this chart.
Good
You can
afternoon to
simply
all.
press F4 and go for whichever group you want to go. This alone I wanted to answer. So this way you will be able to see only loan related or any other item. Okay. So
Yeah. Okay,
yeah,
thank you, Monica ji. So I've
thank
shared
you.
3 links in the chat, so you can refer to it. So the last one is for the current years, that is financial year 26-27. That is the playlist we will upload this today's session, and you can refer to the prior years CA Connect playlist as well. So I'm sure you will find most of the topics related to CA domain has been covered. So please do stay tuned. Thank you so much. It's great to see that even after 20 minutes we have more than 200 people. And Monica ji, as always, a great session. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
And
much.
for your dedication and wanting to cover more, that only shows your commitment and love for Tally. And we are
I
forever
know.
grateful
I
for that.
promised you that I will not cover more, and I still couldn't help
Yeah, you
myself.
couldn't help
So,
it. So thank you so much, everyone. I'll now conclude the session. Thank you.
yeah.